Everyone, it's Adrienne here. It's late this evening, about 10:30, but I wanted to pop on today before the day was over to say hello and share with you some recent um recent downloads I've received. And this is the theme of freedom, liberation. What does that mean? Well, if we look out in the world right now, we see a lot of crazy things going on. Really bad movie script, let's say. And it's so bizarro, so many contradictions. It's almost like a hall of mirrors falling in on itself. Nothing makes sense. The authority of the people in charge is questionable. And this leaves all of us with the question and the inquiry, where does authority lie? And because so many people no longer attend church or find authority in old domains. Some people might say it's a crisis of faith, but for me, it feels like a return to faith, but not in the context in which many of us have inherited. And so I wanted to share this with you tonight because it's powerful. And this isn't new, but I've seen it in a new way. I was shown a new way of looking at this timeless truth. And it's not contained in any one world tradition. It is a knowing that is belongs to the collective. And there have been many institutions, including religion, that have tried to distort and manipulate this truth. But it is our inheritance, it's our legacy. And that's what we're being asked to come back into at this moment. And so, very simply put, it is this awareness that often gets overlooked or becomes like the wallpaper. People don't even notice the power of it. It is this presence that holds our experience, whether it's so called a positive experience or a negative experience, it holds it all. Except the personality has become fused with it, so much so that it can no longer distinguish itself from it for many. And the most powerful place to be is in the present moment, but a lot of people can't be present because of all the unprocessed emotion and trauma in their body. And it's a matter of energy. And this is in relation to power. Ownership and management of our own energy is power. And for a long time, many people, because of the cultural field, have allowed their consciousness to be programmed by larger fields of knowledge and church and all the other domains, social domains that we have, conventions. But it's it's the question is what happens when we start to pull our awareness back to our own ownership, to where we become the observer of our experience, and we enjoy our experience, whether it is so called good or bad, because we know this is the Maya, it's temporary. It changes like the weather. And instead of getting caught up in the weather, we are observers of the weather. And as we learn more and more to become the driver of our own vehicle, our own chariot, let's say, we have the left brain and the right brain, two horses. And then the fuel from which we operate from becomes a grounded knowing of being. And our emotions become tempered through wisdom. And this creates balance internally between the heart and the mind. This is the sacred wedding, the divine marriage, the union of opposites. And we are those are the variable, but we are the constant. Presence is the constant. And when we become or we return to the ownership of our own presence, then we don't have to spin out on stories that reenact suffering, that reenact trauma. Some time ago, I did a podcast called A Love Affair with Frequency. And the idea was that our personality is based on patterns of attachment that we learned in order to cope with the too muchness of life as children with undeveloped nervous systems, with parents who were unregulated themselves, who didn't have the imprint to hold a container big enough for us to learn how to be with our own experience. We fragment into pieces, and those fragments get stuck in time. And every time they're triggered, that part of us, that 4-year-old, that 5-year-old, that 8-year-old, whatever the age was where that trauma was created, it's frozen and it gets reenacted in an attempt to resolve something, to resolve the energy, to free it back up so it can join into the life stream. But because many people are operating unconsciously, it just keeps circling, spiraling, and it never actually moves into integrate back into the conscious life force. It remains in the unconscious mind. And all of these unconscious fragments end up becoming our unconscious shadow. And that unconscious shadow, just because it's repressed, doesn't mean that it's not affecting everything that we do and we say and how we show up in the world. It is actually the blind spot in which we're operating that stops us or creates the same painful patterns over and over again because it's trying to wake us up. It's trying to say, hey, there was no witness for this energy. And until it's witnessed, it will continue to be in purgatory or into the unconscious mind or the underworld, let's say. And so this is a recalibration, a redistribution, a reconciliation of our own energy field. Of our own legacy, of our own inheritance. And this is no small thing. This is a cataclysmic event. And there's a whole system based on lack of awareness, lack of ownership, the inability to conceive of oneself as a full empowered being that has mastery over one's own energy field. And so part of the work that I've been doing now for many, many years for myself and with others is supporting the reconnection to all the fragments, calling them all back like little filaments in a magnet. And I don't want to minimize the strength and courage and devotion that this path takes. And I'd like to say somehow I chose it. Maybe I did. But more than anything, I think it chose me. And I just showed up here unbeknownst or unaware that I had agreed to do all this work because I probably wouldn't have, right? If I knew everything that it was going to take to do this work. And so I put together a collection of tools, and I've been offering it in my class called the Energetic Toolbox. And it is a collection of practices that, when continued to practice every day and to build on the momentum, let's say, of these practices, the life stream that is your unique signature becomes more robust. And as it begins to, as the stream called you with the resonance of your authentic soul that came here to be expressed on this planet before it got all of the imprints, the disassociation, the distortions, the trauma, it begins to run clear, like a clear river, and takes practice, and it takes support, and it takes having community and a circle of like-minded people that are doing the practices together. Because when more than one person gets together and does these practices, creates a vortex, it creates a amplified field. And so, yes, you can do this work by yourself, but it's so much more powerful when you do it in a group of people because it amplifies um, the magnetic field in which this work requires, and it increases the momentum and speed in which the work is done. It's incredibly supportive and validating as well. And when you come together with a group of people to create a container based on validation and trust and acknowledgement and empowerment, these are vitamins, they're nourishment for our soul that isn't always available, rarely out in the world. And so, this energetic toolkit that I put together is a reinvigoration of your soul essence, the quintessence, which is you, just the quote unquote fifth element. So I wanted to take a minute to share this with you because I'm going to be offering this at the end of the month. I'm trying to remember the date. I think it's starting the oh gosh, I wrote it down and now I spaced out. But I will put it in the, it's late, sorry you guys. I'll put it in this description. I want to say it's either um the I think it's the 28th that's starting on Tuesday, the 28th of October, and it's going to be a 6-week container. And each week you will learn and practice another skill to help ground and expand your unique energy field, which is really what we're being asked to do right now, to grow this individual dynamic, which is really a feature of collective consciousness. And this is the stream of power, not the kind that we've been raised to believe is power, that we're seeing self-destruct right now through material dominance and possession. Like all of this is from an end of an age that's happening. And so we're being asked to prepare ourselves for the new age, the Aquarian age. And that's what I'm here for. So if you're here for that as well, I would love for you to check it out and join me for the next, well, gosh, 2 more weeks, I think. Today's the 14th. Yeah, it's one of the most powerful things that I've done in my life. Yeah, so I'll leave it there. Thank you so much for stopping by and saying hello. And whenever you're watching this, I hope you have a great day or a great night. And I'll see you guys again very soon. Bye for now.